All right, let's dive into an ancient map of existence itself, a really fascinating framework that tries to classify everything from the spirits among us to the gods way up high. It's a journey up the ladder of being, so let's get started.
So, first off, a big question. What does it actually mean to be immortal? Is it just about not dying? Or is it maybe something way more profound? Well, the ancient system we're exploring today suggests it isn't just one thing, but a journey with some very distinct levels.
The core idea here is actually pretty simple. What we can see is totally limited by where we're standing. An ancient text puts it this way: you can only really see how huge the mountains are when you're at the peak. For most of us, our everyday view is kind of like sitting at the bottom of a well, only seeing this tiny little patch of sky.
So to try and chart this huge, unseen world, the ancients used an analogy that's actually pretty brilliant: botany. Just think about it. Plants come in countless varieties, right? Some are tall, some short, some have sweet fruit, others sour. The source material basically argues that conscious beings are the same. They exist on this vast, unseen spectrum, and it gives us a system to classify them.
Okay, so let's get into the system itself. It breaks all immortal beings down into 5 distinct realms. But you should think of it less like a simple list and more like a ladder, a path of spiritual ascension, moving from one state of being up to the next.
So here it is. Here's our path. We're going to start with the ghost immortal, and we're going to climb all the way up through the human, the earthly, and the spirit realms, right to the top with the celestial immortal. Let's start our climb on that bottom rung.
Okay, so our ascent begins with the first 2 types of immortals. Now, these are beings that are still tied in one way or another to our mortal world. They kind of walk or maybe float among us, but for the most part, we don't see them.
First up, the ghost immortal. This is pretty much what we'd call a ghost, a spirit who hasn't quite moved on. The source material suggests this happens a lot because of a sudden death or some really powerful unfinished business that keeps them tethered between worlds. And what's key here is that they're not actually formless, they just exist on a plane that's outside our normal range of perception.
And just listen to how poetically the classic text describes them. It really emphasizes their purely spiritual nature, calling them divine yin, with yin representing all those unseen spiritual forces. But it also notes they're only formless from our limited point of view. It's a really beautiful way to put it.
Now, the crucial point about this next step up is that it's not about magic. It's all about wisdom. The human immortal is a sage who has totally mastered themselves. You can almost think of it as the ultimate goal of mindfulness or modern self-improvement, achieving perfect health and freeing yourself from chasing things like politics, fame, or money. They're in the world, but they're no longer of the world.
And notice how this ancient definition focuses on real, tangible results. It's not some abstract philosophy. It's about living a long, healthy life, totally free from all the anxieties that get to most of us. It's a state of enlightened peace, right here on Earth.
Okay, here we go, we're ascending again. And this is where we leave the purely philosophical behind and step into the realm of the supernatural. This is where the rules of our world really start to bend.
The earthly immortal. This being has gone way beyond basic human limits. The source actually points to legendary figures from history, like the master physician Hua Tuo, as potential examples. These are beings who've mastered not just their minds, but the very secrets of life itself, giving them an ageless body and some pretty extraordinary abilities.
And this illustrates that level up perfectly. I mean, look at this. The earthly immortal has all the wisdom and peace of the human immortal, but they add supernatural powers and true agelessness to the mix. They've gone from being detached from the world to being able to master it.
And right here is where things get truly fantastical. I mean, we are now at the level of the spirit immortal, a being of just immense divine power. These beings, they aren't tied to Earth. According to the source, they can just travel through realms freely, zipping between heaven, our world, and even the underworld.
And to make this concept super clear, the source gives us a perfect, iconic example: Sun Wukong, the legendary Monkey King from Journey to the West. In his prime, before his final enlightenment, he was the absolute archetype of a spirit immortal. And his powers are just legendary. 72 different transformations, the ability to leap across continents in a single bound, riding clouds, shrinking down to the size of a particle, or growing as big as a mountain. We're talking about beings of almost unimaginable power, totally unbound by the laws of physics as we understand them.
We've climbed pretty high, and now we've reached the final step on this ladder. This is it, the apex, the highest level of existence a being can achieve in this system. We have made it to the summit.
So, the celestial immortal. This is the peak of being. The source suggests some examples we might recognize, like the Bodhisattva Guanyin, or maybe even angels in Western traditions. And their single defining trait is total, absolute, and even playful freedom. They have no duties, no restrictions, they simply are. You know, even the ancient text seems to struggle to define this state. It describes a being that's just beyond comprehension, so holy and so free that not even other gods can predict or understand them. It's a state of pure, untethered existence. So, after climbing this incredible ladder from a tethered ghost all the way up to a being of pure cosmic freedom, we have to ask the most important question of all. What is this a map of? What's the point?
We've gone on this journey from wise sages all the way to world-shaking deities, and it's all laid out as a clear path of progression. This system is really one culture's ambitious attempt to chart the vast unseen territories of existence, everything that lies just beyond our limited view from the bottom of that well. And that's really the question I want to leave you with. Is this system a literal guide to becoming a god, or is it a powerful metaphor for our own human potential? A map that shows what we can achieve, not by leaving our humanity behind, but by mastering the entire universe that lies right inside of ourselves. Well, that's for you to decide. Thanks for digging into this with me.